That could assist us, bring more moist air, and also bringing what was pushing this way and that way. The plumes could come up. You may see that smoke go directly up. That's actually not a bad sign, but a good one for some of the work that we can do with our aerial units. And as I said, we've got a lot of folks on the ground as well, laying those fire lines, and we've seen the retardant really having a nice northern border there as well. Again, the rec centers that are open for folks that do need shelter right now or a place to go during the day, and you can bring your pets, are Westwood Rec Center, Stoner, Pacific Palisades, Cheviot Hills, and in the Valley, Sherman Oaks, Van Nuys. Your small pets can go to both the West Valley Animal Shelter and the West LA Animal Shelter, and large animals can go to Hanson Dam. I'll turn it over to our fire chief, but before that, I just want to thank both council members, the one whose district has been affected, Mike Bonin, and neighboring district, Paul Koretz, who has taken many people into the facilities in his district. We appreciate both them and their staff's good work. Especially appreciate LAPD, CHP, and our other law enforcement officials. One last note on that, southbound between 101 and Sunset remains closed on the 405. Northbound is open. With that, let me turn it over to Ralph Terrazas, who's leading a group of heroic firefighters today who are making great progress. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. Earlier this morning, I was able to go up and drive some of the streets where we lost some of the homes, and I was able to talk to our firefighters on scene, and they described the firefight that occurred early this morning. They were literally overwhelmed. They had to make some tough decisions on which houses they were able to protect. Many times it depends upon where the ember lands. I saw homes that were adjacent to homes that were totally destroyed without any damage. And when I looked at those homes, part of it's randomness, part of it is building construction. A lot of them that survived had boxed eaves and made out of concrete, and they survived. Very, very challenging fire. And like the mayor said, a few hours ago, we went up in one of our helicopters and flew the perimeter. And I'm very, very impressed with the work that our firefighters did early this morning. Not only the Los Angeles City Fire Department, but the Los Angeles County Fire Department, Orange County Fire Authority, and multiple departments from throughout the region, as well as our law enforcement partners, LAPD. They were critical in assisting with the notifications. We're getting a lot of questions about technology, so I'll talk a little bit about different pieces of technology. The first one is our wireless emergency alert system. We are alerting now on a regular basis. The first one went out early this morning. Anybody who lives within the perimeter of the fire was sent a WEA alert, wireless emergency alert. That's where your cell phone goes off with that information. And that directs the recipient to lafd.org website to see where the evacuation zones have been identified. We also have Notify LA. That's something you have to register for. You can register for that using texting 888-777. We also have the reverse 911 system, and I understand police officers were also knocking on doors and using loudspeakers to alert the people that were still sleeping. The second piece of technology I want to talk about is our Wi-Fi technology. It's a partnership with UC San Diego. We've been partners with them for a little over 4 years on the Wi-Fi technology. It allows us to run a projection within the first few minutes of dispatching a brush assignment to a brush fire. The projection tells us where the fire is headed, and we get that projection within minutes. It uses real-time weather data, known fire corridors, fuel, things of that nature. We found the last few years it's pretty accurate. It's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty accurate and it's really fast. We built upon that this year with the FIRUS system. FIRUS is the Fire Integrated Real-Time Intelligence System. That's where we launched 2 fixed-wing aircraft within 30 minutes to an hour after the initial dispatch to fly the perimeter of the fire above our helicopters. That information is transmitted to our Southern California Wildfire Fusion Center, which is at our dispatch center within the Los Angeles City Fire Department. That gives us data and information we've never had before that quick. Usually it's many hours into the incident or even the next day before we get the real-time perimeter. That technology allows us to ensure that the information we share with the public is as accurate as possible. The last piece of technology is something we used 2 years ago, is our drones. We'll be using the drones later on in the week. We can ground our helicopters to save on the hours on the motor, give our pilots a break. And we can use our drones with infrared cameras to identify the hotspots. That will tell us where we need to put our firefighters to ensure the fire is cold. A lot of things going on with technology. Those are tools that we've been using the last few years. We're very fortunate that we have a very robust fire department thanks to the support of Mayor Garcetti, our city council, and our fire commissioners. We have 2 new Augusta helicopters we've got in the last few years. Those are absolutely critical, along with all the fixed wing assets. We do year-round training on brush preparedness with our firefighters. Unfortunately, the public takes events like this to motivate the public to really understand Ready, Set, Go and what our brush clearance program looks like. We're fortunate that in the area, the city of LA, we have 134,000 parcels, brush parcels. In our first sweep this year, 92% were cleared. So thank you to the public for your cooperation there. Also, thank you to the public for the evacuations that occurred this morning. It went relatively smoothly given the size of the incident. And with that, I'll turn it over back to the mayor.
Thank you. Let me also thank the school district. Nick Melvoin has joined us as well from the school board. We know that number of schools that have been closed in LAUSD. We appreciate their information and getting that out to everybody. And UCLA remains closed for classes as well. But with that, we'll try to keep that brief brevemente también en español. Yo quiero decir, tenemos mucho progreso en este incendio. Ahora es 618 acres, pero nuestros bomberos y nuestros amigos en los departamentos de policía están trabajando muy duro a proteger nuestros vecindarios, nuestros hogares y nuestra gente. Ahora las evacuaciones obligatorias están en hasta esta área, al norte de Mulholland, al sur Sunset, al este el freeway y también al oeste Temescal. Juntos este es una área sin personas, pero hay oficiales del Departamento de Policía a proteger los hogares aquí. Also in English, I'd say one other thing. We have 8 confirmed homes lost and 5 damaged. We do have Frank Bush here, who's the general manager of our Department of Building and Safety. When safe, we will get up there, but we don't have any more detail than that. But as I said earlier when we briefed, that I'd seen 5 of those homes, thought there might be 2 or 3 others. Those were the ones that I saw across the ridge. Those, in addition, where there's 5 that were partially damaged, but that has not expanded since we briefed earlier today. So that's good news. We hope to make progress today. We hope to make deep progress over the next 24 hours because we need that progress before Wednesday. Wednesday is when we have those Santa Anas blowing even stronger. And remember one last thing, when you ask about containment, sometimes you hear 0% contained. That only means that 0% of the line is so cold that it could never start up. That doesn't mean that it's 100% out of control. And that's because of the hard work of our firefighters that we do feel like we're getting our arms around this, but with the big caveat that the wrong gust, the wrong kind of air that comes in from the wrong direction could lift embers and immediately make this a fire someplace else. So when people say, hey, I feel like my home is far away from where this fire is, do not return for your own safety. Trust the fire department, trust the professionals to do this, and don't be a hero. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Mayor, this morning you indicated that you were able to exclude this being started by a homeless encampment.
Correct.
And you would have more for us later today. What can you tell us now about the possible or suspected origin of the fire?
So there's an active arson investigation. I would also say to the public, when you hear arson, that sounds like somebody has said it. Arson investigations are just the cause of the fire. That doesn't necessarily mean somebody has said it. Something can set that as well. We do know that, and they investigated, there was no homeless encampment, so that has been again ruled out. That's not what started this, but we have an active investigation right now. I can't share much more than that today, at this moment, but we want the integrity of that investigation because for all sorts of reasons, the city has to be that neutral arbiter, but we're making good progress. They think they're pretty close to understanding why, and as soon as we get the green light, we will share that.
Hey, Chief, can you talk about mutual aid a little bit, especially as winds start to pick up this week?
Absolutely. The State Master Mutual Aid System was important to us in this incident. As any large brush fire it is, we've gotten resources from throughout the region. Personal texts from Chief Fennessy from Orange County Fire Authority, offering up some strike teams as well as their helitanker, as well as Chief Osby and other fire departments. We're putting them in the system, and it's reciprocal. Whenever we can send, we do. And that's what it's going to take for us to get through these emergencies that are occurring throughout the state. All fire departments and the public have to work together to get through this.
Any other questions?
How important was it? You got their aircraft there right away, and I heard the call, at least 10 aircraft, helicopters. They got there quick. How significant was the safety of the homes that keep it down to the minimum for a home? They were going over close to the homes other than the hill.
Air resources, helicopters are absolutely critical. Every year we announce, we have a press conference announcing our leased helitanker. We also revisit the statistics. We do have the largest initial dispatch of brush helicopters anywhere, we think, in the country, if not the world. And that's because we have the LA County Fire Department combined with the LA City Fire Department, as well as our leased helitankers, as well as our leased super scoopers. While our firefighters pinch the fire, they hit the flanks, our helicopters get in front of it. And when necessary, they make drops, many times just in the nick of time, to prevent a house from taking off. You may have seen the footage from the Palisades fire a few days ago, and literally the fire was encroaching on some houses, and the helicopter drops prevented those houses from being lost.
Are you worried about things getting worse as winds pick up?
I'm always worried about Santa Ana wind conditions, especially when we have a fire that's not contained. There's still hot spots within the fire that we have here. So when wind comes and picks up an ember and blows it in the wrong place, we could have another fire start. That's why I've directed my command staff to do everything possible to get this fire as cold as possible before the anticipated high wind events occur later in the week.
Are you ruling out any power poles, transformers where the fire could have started at this time?
We're not ruling out anything. The investigation is very thorough. Like the mayor said, we can rule out a homeless encampment start. We do know the general vicinity of the fire start, which is just off the 405 freeway near Sepulveda. That is very apparent, and that's all I can say at this time. We'll have more information later on.
I'll add one thing to that. There's, because I know it's been out in the press, there is one power pole that fell, that is burnt through the bottom. Our arson investigation team said that's just that it burned on the bottom. It's still intact, and those lines are still intact, so they have absolutely no evidence on that line that was a cause. But as I said, the rest is under investigation right now.
Where was that?
On the Sepulveda Pass. It's a little bit, I think, just to the south of where it started. Okay. Anything else? Yes.
It seems like the losses from these recent fires has been much lower than like the disastrous, like tens or 20s and 30s of houses.
Sure.
Is there anything specific that is keeping the number of homes burned
Sure.
so low?
I'll let the chief chime in as well, but I will say, it's very easy in budget years where there's not big fires to say, oh, the fire department is fine. And during the recession, partially by necessity, we saw this department cut pretty dramatically. When I was elected mayor, one of the things I did was sit down. I chose a new chief saying, what do we need? Let's do this before there's a disaster. So whether it's new equipment, like some of the trucks that can go into the brush areas directly and go, off-road, whether it's an additional helicopter or reestablishing some of the trucks, these are the fire engines as they're popularly known, in the stations, working with Councilmember Bonin, for instance, and a couple of his stations, we've restored those. Those are absolutely critical, absolutely helpful, and making sure that we have the staffing. So we hadn't had a fire class graduate, I think, for 5 years. And how many we've had now, Chief?
At least 18.
At least 18, since I've been mayor in the last 7 years. So we have put those resources on the line. Second, there's no place in America that has the mutual aid like we do. And that goes not just between fire departments, but across law enforcement. I watch it. You don't get to see it, but when you have LAPD, LAFD, when you have county fire, our sheriffs, our highway patrol, CAL FIRE, when we do U.S. Forest Service, It's a very seamless thing, and people take their hats off. They're not territorial. They fight this fire like it is their own backyard, whether it is or not. And to see some of the trucks that roll in quickly from Kings County, from places across California, it really is one of those moments where you're proud to be not only an Angelino, but a Californian.
And can we get a more specific description of what's expected to happen with the weather?
We don't know for sure. If we could get more specific, we'd be newscasters. But we do expect Wednesday the wind to pick up dramatically. That will be some of the strongest Santa Ana winds. Right now, we're expecting that more offshore winds will start blowing in. So as we've been saying, it's gone from the northeast to the southwest up until about midday. You can kind of feel it right now here. It's starting to push the other direction. Where those meet, you get plumes that go straight up. As I mentioned, don't be scared by those. Those are actually good signs for our helicopters. They can do a lot of good damage on the fire when that happens. And that will also be more moist air. But other than that, we expect the temperatures to stay where they are. As you can hear, the helicopters literally overhead. We've got some significant air power here, and we feel confident about the direction that we're moving.
Has the governor reached out to you? Have you contacted the governor?
I have been in communication with the governor. First partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, is in town as well, and I know she's visited some of the rec centers, as we did, Councilmember Koretz and Councilmember Bonner and I, to reassure people and tell them. So we really appreciate her activity. I've been in direct contact with him, yes, and he's been very helpful. The state declaration applies to us as well. I signed, since we met last time, the official declaration from the city as well, so that allows those state funds and those federal funds to come to help our efforts. Okay? All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. You call that in?
Inspired by India's colorful culture and world's finest spice cuisines, Kitchen Crafted's Mumbai Masala brings the taste of Mumbai to every dish. Blend in, spice up. We know you love the power of fire and ice. Kitchen Crafted's Fire and Lime is a globally inspired seasoning that works great as a rub. Your senses will thank us. Blend in, spice up. Inspired by India's colorful culture and world's finest spice cuisines, Kitchen Crafted's Love My Chai Spice is great for tea, coffee, and desserts. Time to blend in and spice up.
The 2019 model year-end event now at Ron Carter Cadillac has been worth the wait. Enjoy our lowest payments of the year. Sign and drive new 2019 XT4 for just $359 a month, or new XT5 for just $379 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down, or get 0.9% APR for 72 months on any 2019 Cadillac. Your only Houston area Cadillac to your door dealer. RonCarterCadillac.com.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Every day, law enforcement, firefighters, tow operators, and other emergency personnel risk their lives responding to calls for help. The move over or slow down law requires that you clear the lane closest to responding vehicles or reduce your speed to 20 miles per hour below the posted limit. Following this important law helps prevent crashes and saves lives. The next time you see flashing lights ahead, travel smart and move over or slow down. A road safety message from Houston TransStar.